Why do you feel that pull, that instant, almost undeniable urge to talk about it? You just set a new, audacious goal. You're going to start the business. You're going to write the book. You're going to lose the 50 pounds. You're going to finally get that certification. And what is the very first biological impulse? It's not to open a spreadsheet. It's not to buy the domain. It's not to write the first sentence. It's to open your phone. It's to take a selfie at the gym, 5 a.m., with the caption, "Day 1, the grind doesn't stop." It's to post a cryptic tweet, "Big things coming soon, watch this space." It's to tell all your friends, your family, your partner, "This is the year, I'm finally doing it." You tell yourself this is accountability. You tell yourself you're speaking it into existence. You tell yourself you're building a personal brand or documenting the journey. I'm here to tell you that you are lying to yourself. And this lie is the single biggest reason you keep failing. This behavior is not a strategy for success. It is a symptom of your failure. You are engaging in what I call performative hustle. You are acting as if you are the person you want to become without doing the silent, ugly, brutal work required to actually be that person. You are trading the monumental reward of a future victory for the trivial, short-term pleasure of present-day applause. You are stuck in a trap. It's a trap you've been conditioned to love, a trap designed by the dopamine economy to keep you spinning your wheels, feeling busy and motivated, but never actually arriving. You are broadcasting your hustle, and in doing so, you are sabotaging the very work you claim to be doing. You are loud about your efforts, but your results are silent. The 1% mindset is the exact opposite. It is silent in its efforts, so its results can be deafening. This chapter is about understanding the biological trap you're in. We are going to dismantle the dopamine lie piece by piece. We are going to sever the toxic neurological link you have forged between validation and effort. And we are going to introduce the single most powerful weapon in the 1% arsenal: strategic silence. Let's talk about your brain. Right now, your brain is not wired for long-term success in the modern world. It is wired for short-term survival. You are running ancient software on a modern operating system. And the currency of this ancient software? It's dopamine. Now, you've heard of dopamine. It's called the pleasure molecule. That is a dangerous oversimplification. Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure, it is the molecule of motivation. It is the molecule of anticipation. It's the chemical that your brain releases that says, "Do that again, that's good for our survival." In a prehistoric world, this system worked perfectly. You anticipate finding food. Your brain releases dopamine. You get the food. Your brain gives you a reward, a different rush of chemicals, of satisfaction. The loop is complete. Effort is tied to survival. Now, let's look at your brain in the world you live in, the world of the dopamine economy. This economy is not built to help you win. It is built to keep you scrolling. It is built to keep you hooked. Every like, every comment, every share, every notification is a tiny manufactured win designed to give you a hit of that same chemical. So let's replay our scenario, but this time let's look at the biology. You decide on your big goal. Let's say you're going to learn to code and build an app. This is a hard, long, complex journey. It requires thousands of hours of deep, focused, unapplauded work. Your brain knows this. This is a massive expenditure of energy. But you have a shortcut. You open your laptop, you type out a passionate post. For the next 100 days, I'm learning to code. I'm building an app that will change everything. Follow my journey. You hit post. And then you wait. A like comes in. Hit. A comment from a friend. You're so inspiring. Double hit. Your aunt shares it. So proud of my nephew. Triple hit. What is happening in your brain right now? Your reward circuitry, specifically a region called the nucleus accumbens, is flooding with dopamine. Your brain is getting the exact same chemical signal it would get for actual achieving something. You have tricked your brain. You've taught it a new, dangerous shortcut. You've taught it that you can get the reward of achievement without the pain of effort. Your brain, in its efficient, energy-saving wisdom, makes a simple calculation. Why on earth would we spend 1,000 hours in front of a command line, struggling with syntax and debugging code, when we can get the same feeling of social approval and success in 10 seconds by just talking about it? You have just neurologically cut the wires that connect your motivation to the actual work. The motivation gradient, the neurological need to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, collapses. You got the praise. You got the validation. Your brain's reward system says, "Job done. We're a success." And then what happens? The next morning, the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It's time to do the actual work. It's time to open the textbook. It's time to face the blank screen. And you feel nothing. You feel no drive. You feel no urgency. The motivation you had yesterday is completely gone. You hit the snooze button. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow. I deserve a rest after such a big announcement." This isn't a moral failing. You are not lazy. You are a victim of your own biology. You have become a dopamine addict, and you are getting your fix from the cheapest, most worthless source on the market, social validation. This is the dopamine lie. This is performative hustle. The 99% are hopelessly addicted to it. They live on a treadmill of announcing and never finishing. Their entire identity is built on who they are becoming, not on what they have built. They are stuck in talker mode. The 1% mindset is built on one non-negotiable principle. You must sever the link between external validation and your workflow. You must become a builder, not a talker. And the only way to do this is to embrace strategic silence. What is strategic silence? First, let's define what it is not. Silence is not passivity. It is not hiding. It is not being antisocial. It is not a lack of confidence. Strategic silence is an active, offensive weapon. It is an incubator where your ideas are protected from the one thing that can kill them, other people. It is a vacuum where your motivation cannot leak out. It is the conscious, deliberate decision to withhold your goals, your plans, and your progress from the world until the work is complete. The 99% build in public. They expose their fragile, half-formed ideas to the wind of public opinion, to the jealousy of their peers, to the well-meaning but often terrible advice of their family. They subject their motivation to the whims of an algorithm. The 1% build in private. They build in the dark. They build in the basement. They understand a fundamental truth. Your goals are fragile. Your motivation is a finite resource, and external validation is poison to both. When you work in strategic silence, you are plugging that dopamine leak. You are forcing your brain to rewire itself. Let's run our scenario a third time, but this time with the 1% mindset. You have your new audacious goal. You're going to build that app. You feel the urge, the pull to the phone. You want to post. You want the hit. You want the world to know how ambitious and motivated you are. And you don't. You acknowledge the urge and you let it pass. You deny your brain the cheap, easy fix. Instead, you open a document and you write the first line of code. It's hard. It's frustrating. You hit a bug. You spend an hour on a forum, frustrated, confused, you feel stupid. There is no applause. There are no likes. There is no one cheering you on. There is just you and the work. And then you find it. The missing semicolon. The one typo that was breaking everything. You fix it. You hit compile. And the program runs. A simple "Hello World" prints to the screen. And in that instant, your brain gives you a hit. But this is not the cheap, hollow social validation hit. This is a different kind of dopamine. This is the real stuff. This is the task completion hit. This is the "I am competent" hit. It's not a hot, anxious buzz like social media. It's a deep, quiet, solid feeling of pride. This is intrinsic motivation. You have just, on a microscopic neurological level, begun to rewire your brain. You have just started to teach your brain a new loop. Struggle leads to focus. Focus leads to a small win. Small win leads to a genuine earned reward. You close the laptop. You tell no one. The secret is yours. This small victory is yours. It's not for sale. It's not available for public consumption. It's the first brick in the fortress you are building. The next day, when the 5 a.m. alarm goes off, your brain remembers that feeling. It remembers the real reward. It's no longer craving the cheap fix of a like. It is craving the earned satisfaction of solving the problem. You have resensitized your brain to the reward of the work itself. This is the entire game. The 99% are so desperate for the world to see them as successful that they post their way out of ever becoming successful. The 1% don't care if the world sees them at all. They are too busy working. Strategic silence is your shield. It protects you from the two things that kill all progress: doubt and expectation. When you broadcast your goals, you invite doubt. Are you sure you can do that? Isn't that really risky? My cousin's friend tried that and failed. Your brain's ancient negativity bias, a mechanism we will tear apart in a later chapter, clings to these comments. It sees them as threats, and it floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Your motivation is now fighting a defensive war against other people's fears. When you broadcast your goals, you also invite expectation. People ask, "Hey, how's that app coming along?" They mean well, but what you hear is, "Why aren't you done yet?" You now have a social deadline. You feel pressure, and this pressure changes the nature of the work. It's no longer about mastery and building. It's about performing and not looking like a failure. You rush. You cut corners. The joy of the work is replaced by the fear of a social failure. Silence solves all of this. When you work in silence, there is no one to doubt you. When you work in silence, there is no one to pressure you. When you work in silence, there is no one to distract you. There is only you and the work. You are free to fail in private. You are free to learn in private. You are free to look stupid, to be a beginner, to pivot, to change your mind, because no one is watching. The 1% mindset understands that the process is the prize. The work is the reward. The 99% see work as a cost they have to pay to get validation. The 1% see work as a reward in itself. Validation is irrelevant. So here is your first directive in adopting the 1% mindset. Your new life begins with a vow of silence. I want you to pick one thing, one significant, meaningful goal you have for yourself, and you are going to tell no one. Not your partner, not your best friend, not your social media followers, no one. This is your secret. This is your silent project. You are going to take all that energy you would have spent talking about it, posting about it, and planning how to announce it, and you are going to channel 100% of that energy into doing the first smallest step. If you want to write a book, don't post a picture of a blank Word document. Open the document and write the first 500 words. If you want to get in shape, don't post the day one gym selfie. Go to the gym, have the hardest workout of your life, come home, shower, and tell no one. Your homework is to collect one small secret win. Feel that different kind of pride, that internal pride. Compare it to the hot, anxious, fleeting buzz of a like. One is junk food. The other is fuel. One leaves you empty and craving more. The other builds you. This is the first shift. You are unplugging from the dopamine lie. You are taking your power back from the algorithm. You are closing the leaks. You are learning to outwork everyone in silence. But this silence, this external silence, is only the first layer. It's the easiest part. The real challenge, the next challenge, is finding internal silence. Because it's not just the world that is loud, it's your own mind. You're at your desk, ready to work, and your phone pings. Your brain screams. You tell yourself, just 1 second, and an hour is gone. This isn't just a bad habit. This is a neurological war for your attention. And right now, you are losing. To do the work in silence, you must first create a space of silence. You must forge a shield. In the next chapter, we are going to do exactly that. We are going to explore the neuroscience of focus. We are going to build your silent shield, and I will give you the tactical blueprint to rewire your brain, breaking its addiction to distraction and making deep, focused work your new default state. Welcome to the 1% mindset. The real work begins now. You hear that sound. You feel it. It's not just an auditory event. It's a physical one, a jolt. An invisible string yanks your attention. You're at your desk. You're trying to do the work. The real work. The hard, valuable, silent project we talked about. You've been staring at the screen for 10 minutes, trying to get into that state of flow you've heard so much about. And then, ping. A text, an email. A notification that someone you barely know just liked a photo. Your conscious mind, your 1% mind, says, don't check it, it's not important, stay on task. But another part of your brain, a deeper, older, much faster part, is screaming. It's an itch you can't ignore. You tell yourself the lie, the same lie you tell yourself every day. It's just for a second, I'll just see what it is, it might be important. You pick up the phone. You glance at the notification. It wasn't important. But now the phone is in your hand. The screen is unlocked. You see the red dot on your email app. You see the 5 other notifications you missed. You think, well, as long as I'm here. 45 minutes later, you wake up. You're deep in a social media scroll. You're reading an article you don't care about. You're checking the news. And that deep, focused state you were almost in, it's gone. It's shattered. You put the phone down, disgusted with yourself. You feel weak. You feel undisciplined. You feel like a failure. Why can't I just focus? You ask yourself. I want you to listen to me very, very closely. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are not lazy. You are a soldier in a war for your attention, and you are losing because you don't understand the biology of the enemy. You are bringing your willpower, a flimsy wooden shield, to a neurological gunfight. The performative hustle we discussed in Chapter 1 is the external enemy. This distraction, this is the internal one. You cannot outwork everyone in silence if your silence is punctured by a digital ping every 3 minutes. To do the work in silence, you must first create a space of silence, not just in your environment, but in your head. This chapter is about forging your silence shield. But to build it, you first have to understand the battlefield. And the battlefield is the 3-pound universe between your ears. This isn't a time management problem. This is a brain management problem. Inside your skull, there are 2 systems in a constant, brutal tug of war for control of your life. In one corner, you have your prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This is the 1% mind. It's the CEO of your brain. It's the new, evolved human part of your brain that lives right behind your forehead. Your PFC is responsible for everything that makes you powerful: long-term planning, complex problem-solving, rational decision-making, and, most critically, impulse control. Your PFC is what wants to do the deep work. It's what wants to build the app, write the book, and win. But it has 2 massive weaknesses. It is slow, and it is insanely energy expensive. Your brain is 2% of your body weight, but consumes 20% of your energy. Your PFC is the hungriest part of all. In the other corner, you have your amygdala. The amygdala is your alarm system. It's part of the ancient reptilian brain. It is fast, it is powerful, and it is cheap to run. The amygdala's job is not to make you successful. Its job is to keep you alive. It has been doing that job perfectly for hundreds of thousands of years. It is not interested in your 5-year plan. It is interested in right now. It constantly scans your environment, asking one of 3 questions. Can I eat it? Will it eat me? Can I mate with it? In the modern world, this translates to, is it a threat? Is it an opportunity? Is it novel? Now, let's look at that ping again. That notification, the sound, the buzz, the little red dot, is not a neutral event. It is a piece of weaponized neuroscience designed specifically to bypass your slow, logical PFC and trigger your fast, reactive amygdala. That ping is engineered to mimic the sound of a twig snap in a silent forest. It's an interruption. It's novelty. Your amygdala cannot ignore it. It hijacks your entire nervous system and screams, threat, opportunity, pay attention now. This is what we call an amygdala hijack, or, in this case, a cognitive hijack. Your logical PFC never stood a chance. Your hand involuntarily reaches for the phone before your PFC can even chime in with, hey, wait, we're working. The amygdala always wins the first punch. And here's the real damage. You tell yourself it was just a 10-second check. What you don't understand is a concept called attention residue. A 2014 study from the University of California, Irvine found that it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back to your original task. Why? Because even after you put the phone down, your focus is shattered. A residue of that interruption, a cognitive echo, lingers in your brain. Part of your PFC is still thinking about that text. Part of it is still processing that email. Part of it is still annoyed at that social media post. You are not back on task. You are operating at 30% of your cognitive capacity. You are pretending to work. You are not multitasking. That is a myth. You are task switching, and you are doing it horribly. Every switch, every ping forces your brain to reload the context of your deep work, like rebooting a computer over and over. This is why you feel so exhausted at the end of the day, yet have nothing to show for it. You've been running a cognitive marathon, sprinting back and forth between your work and your distractions. The 99% live in this state of permanent chronic interruption. Their focus is a shredded resource. The 1% mindset understands that focus is not a skill. It is an environment. You cannot will your way out of this. You cannot discipline your amygdala. It is faster and stronger than your PFC. You cannot win a fair fight. So, you rig the game. You stop fighting your biology and you start designing for it. You create an environment where your PFC cannot lose. This is how we forge the silence shield. And we build it using the single most hopeful and powerful concept in all of neuroscience, neuroplasticity. You've heard this buzzword. It just means your brain is plastic. It changes. It is not fixed. The brain you have today is a physical, living map of your habits and behaviors from yesterday. Every time you check that ping, you strengthen the neurological pathway, the distraction pathway, between the trigger, the ping, and the action, checking the phone. You are practicing being distracted. You have myelinated this pathway, coating it in a fatty sheath that makes the signal faster and more automatic every single time. You have trained your brain with thousands of reps to be unfocusable. The 1% mindset uses neuroplasticity as a tool. We are going to stop paving that distraction superhighway, and we are going to start, brick by brick, building a new pathway, the deep work pathway. We are going to practice being focused. Your silence shield is not a wall you build once. It is a gym. It is a training ground. And here is your tactical, non-negotiable blueprint for your first training session. I call it the Silence Shield Protocol. It has 3 phases. Phase 1, the environment, the physical shield. You must create a cognitive hygiene environment. Your PFC is a finicky, high-performance engine. It needs clean fuel and a clean racetrack. Rule number 1, sanctify your space. You must have one place that is for deep work and nothing else. Not for eating, not for scrolling social media, not for watching Netflix. One chair, one desk. When you sit here, your brain knows it is time to work. You are creating a powerful psychological anchor. Rule number 2, the zero notification rule. This is the one that will make you feel anxious. This is the one that matters. Silent mode is not good enough. Vibrate is worse. The red dot on the screen is poison. There is one solution. Your phone must be in another room. Let me repeat that. In another room. But what if there's an emergency, you ask? This is your addiction talking. This is your amygdala creating a fake threat. What emergency in the last 5 years required a response within 30 minutes? If it's that big of an emergency, they will call you twice, or they will call someone else. This is non-negotiable. Why? Because as long as the phone is visible, as long as it is within reach, your PFC has to expend energy resisting the option of checking it. This is called decision fatigue. You are leaking precious cognitive energy just by not checking it. Remove the phone, and you remove the decision. You free up 100% of your PFC's energy for the actual work. Rule number 3, the single task mandate. Close every tab. Your email is closed. Your 20 research articles are closed. Your work is one screen, one program, one task. You are building a sensory deprivation tank for your focus. Phase 2, the ritual, the mental shield. You cannot just jump from a state of high distraction into deep work. You must transition. The 1% mindset is ritualistic. Rule number 1, the startup ritual. You need a 3-minute power-up sequence. It can be anything, but it must be the same every time. My ritual. I sit down, I close the door, I put my phone in the other room, I pour 1 glass of water, I open the one file I'm working on, I set a timer. This ritual becomes another anchor. It is the signal to your brain. The ping world is over. The deep work world is beginning. Rule number 2. The timer is your sparring partner. Do not try to work for 4 hours. You will fail. Your focus muscle is atrophied. You must rebuild it. Start with a focus block, 25 minutes. That's it. This is the Pomodoro technique, but we're framing it as a neurological rep. Set a real timer. For 25 minutes, your only job on earth is to focus on your one task. Rule number 3, the urge drill. This is the most important part. You are 10 minutes into your 25-minute block. Your phone is in the other room. Your tabs are closed. And it happens. The internal distraction. The itch. Your brain screams, I wonder what's happening on the news. I should definitely check my email right now. Did I remember to pay that bill? This is your amygdala, panicked because it's not getting its usual hit of novelty. This is withdrawal. The 99% fight this urge. Stupid, stop thinking that, focus. Or they give in. Okay, I'll just check really quick, which breaks the loop and resets the 23-minute attention residue clock. Here is what the 1% does. You acknowledge it. Keep a physical notepad and a pen on your desk. This is your distraction pad. When the urge surfaces, check email. You calmly turn to the pad, write it down, check email, and then immediately return your focus to the task. This is a neurological judo move. You are not fighting the amygdala. You are redirecting it. You are telling it, I see your signal, I have logged it, it is not a threat. We will deal with it later. You are training your PFC to be the master, not the servant. You are practicing the art of letting a thought go and returning to the work. This is the real rep. This is how you build the new pathway. Phase 3, the shutdown ritual. When your 25-minute timer goes off, you stop. Even if you're in flow, stop. Why? Because you must complete the loop. You must teach your brain that you keep your promises. Close the file, take a real 5-minute break. Get up, walk around, get away from your desk. Then, and only then, you can go check your phone. Go look at your distraction pad and handle those items. You have just taught your brain, if you give me 25 minutes of pure focus, I will give you a reward. Your brain learns this loop. The next time you sit down, the resistance will be a little bit lower. The urge to check will be a little quieter. You do one 25-minute block tomorrow. The next day, you do 2 blocks. Within a month, you will be doing 4, 5, 6 blocks of pure, uninterrupted, deep work a day. 2 hours of this kind of work, this silence shield work, is worth 8 hours of the fractured, ping-shattered, multitasking junk work the 99% call hustle. This is your new practice. You are no longer practicing distraction. You are practicing focus. You have plugged the dopamine leak from talking about your work. Now, you have forged the shield to plug the attention leak from distraction. You have the silence. You have the focus. But what do you do with it? You can be the most focused person on earth, sitting in a perfectly silent room, but be 100% focused on the wrong thing. You can be the person who works 18 hours a day in pure, deep focus and still get no results. The 99% believe outworking everyone means more hours. It means burning out. It means grinding yourself into dust. The 1% mindset knows this is a fool's game. Outwork does not mean time. It means leverage. It means intensity. It means strategic output. In the next chapter, we are going to redefine the very meaning of work. We are going to separate busyness from progress, and I am going to show you how to get 10x the results in half the time. You're exhausted, aren't you? You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're the first one in the office, the last one to leave. You're the one who says yes to the extra project. You're the one answering emails at 10 p.m. You are grinding. You wear your 18-hour days, your lack of sleep, your no days off mentality as a badge of honor. This is what outworking everyone means, right? It's a war of attrition. The person who can endure the most, who can sacrifice the most, who can log the most hours, wins. So why aren't you winning? Why are you spinning your wheels, mired in a swamp of busyness, while you watch other people who seem to be working less than you, glide past you? You see them. The colleague who leaves at 5 p.m. on the dot, but gets the promotion. The competitor who takes long weekends, but whose business is scaling faster than yours. And you feel a hot, quiet sting of resentment. You tell yourself, they must have gotten lucky. They must have connections. They must be cutting corners. Because if they aren't, what does that say about you? What does that say about your 18-hour days? What does that say about your sacrifice? I am here to tell you the truth that will simultaneously infuriate you and set you free. Your grind is a lie. You are not outworking everyone. You are out busying them. You are confusing activity with accomplishment. You are confusing time spent with value created. The 99% believe that work is a brute force equation. Time plus effort equals results. They believe the way to get 2x the results is to apply 2x the time. The 1% mindset knows this is a biological fallacy. They know it's a trap. They know that outworking has nothing to do with the clock. It has everything to do with leverage. The 1% equation is completely different. Intensity times leverage equals results. This chapter is about redefining work itself. We are going to shatter the badge of honor that comes from burnout. We are going to analyze the biological poison of the 99% brute force method. And I am going to give you the 1% framework for achieving 10x the results in less time by replacing volume with intensity and leverage. Let's look at the brute force model. Let's look at why it's failing you. Think about your average grind day. It's 12 hours long. It's packed. It's a back-to-back sprint of meetings, emails, phone calls, and putting out fires. You are constantly reacting. You feel important because you are in demand. You collapse into bed at midnight, your brain buzzing, and you tell yourself, I worked hard today. Now, let's look at what really happened inside your body. Your brain, your ancient, survival-oriented brain, cannot tell the difference between a truly life-threatening situation, like being hunted, and a modern chronic stressor, like 300 unread emails, an angry client, and an impossible deadline. To your amygdala, it's all the same. We are under threat. And when your brain perceives a chronic threat, it does what it's designed to do. It floods your system with a chemical. We're not talking about dopamine this time. We're talking about cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. In a short-term, acute survival situation, it is your superpower. It's what gives you the jolt of energy to slam on the brakes or jump out of the way of a falling object. It focuses your mind now. But your 12-hour brute force workday is not an acute stress. It is a chronic one. You are not getting one life-saving jolt of cortisol. You are getting a slow, steady, poisonous drip all day long. And chronic cortisol is not your superpower. It is your saboteur. Listen to this. This is the agitate part. This is the biology of your failure. When your body is marinated in cortisol, day after day, week after week, here is what physically happens. 1. It destroys your focus and memory. Chronic cortisol attacks your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for forming new memories and learning. This is why, at the end of your 12-hour day, you can't remember what you had for lunch or the name of the person you just met. You are literally damaging your brain's ability to learn. 2. It shuts down your 1% mind. This is the killer. Cortisol's primary job is to shift energy away from long-term projects like digestion, immunity, and complex thought, and toward immediate survival projects like your muscles. What is the #1 long-term project from your brain's perspective? Your prefrontal cortex, PFC, the CEO of your brain, the smart part, the part that plans, that innovates, that solves complex problems. Chronic cortisol literally disconnects your PFC. It weakens the neural connections, it impairs your cognitive function. Let me say that again plainly. Your brute force 18-hour grind, the very thing you think is your key to success, is flooding your brain with a chemical that is making you dumber. You are working harder, but your output is getting sloppier. Your innovative ideas dry up. Your problem-solving becomes one-dimensional. You stop creating and you can only react. You are the perfect example of the busy Brian. Brian starts his day at 7 a.m. by opening his email. He reacts for 3 hours. He goes to a meeting he's not needed in. He reacts to a fire that someone else started. At 6 p.m., he finally gets to the one important creative task on his list, but his brain is gone. It is a swamp of cortisol. He has no creative energy. His PFC is offline. He stares at the blank screen for an hour, writes 2 terrible paragraphs, and calls it a night, frustrated and exhausted. He worked 12 hours. He produced 0 value. This is the 99% trap. It is the hamster wheel of busyness. You are running faster and faster, but you are never moving forward. Now, let's look at the 1% mindset. Let's look at leveraged Laura. Laura understands that a 12-hour day is stupid. It's biologically counterproductive. She doesn't manage time, she manages energy and leverage. The 1% mindset outworks everyone by not working. At least not in the way the 99% do. The 1% outwork is not about endurance. It's about surgical, high-intensity strikes on high-leverage targets. Let's use an analogy. The 99% busy Brian sees his goal as a giant boulder. His work is to push that boulder up a hill. He runs at it head first and pushes with his face for 12 hours a day. He's bloody, he's exhausted, and the boulder has barely budged. But he feels like he's working. The 1% leveraged Laura sees the same boulder, but she doesn't touch it. She spends the first hour of her day ignoring the boulder. She walks around it. She inspects the ground. She looks for a tool. She is sharpening the axe. She is finding the lever. She identifies a small crack in the rock and a sturdy tree branch nearby. She spends 30 minutes whittling that branch into a perfect lever and jamming it into the crack. Then, for one 90-minute, uninterrupted silence shield block, Chapter 2, she applies all of her focused energy onto the end of that lever. The boulder moves. It moves more in that 90 minutes of intense, leveraged work than it did for Brian's 12 hours of brute force grinding. By 10:30 a.m., Laura has won the day. She can now spend the rest of her day in a low cortisol state, answering emails, taking meetings, and recovering. Or she can go home. Brian, meanwhile, is still at the bottom of the hill, wiping blood off his face, wondering why Laura is so lucky. Your job is to stop pushing the boulder. Your job is to find the lever. Leverage is the 1% word for strategy. It's about what you work on. The 99% are non-strategic. They believe all tasks are created equal. An email is work. A meeting is work. A fire is work. They live by a to-do list. The 1% are ruthlessly strategic. They know that not all tasks are equal. They know that some tasks are levers. This is the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, on steroids. 80% of your results will come from 20% of your efforts. This means that 80% of what you are currently doing, 80% of your grind, is low-value junk. Busy Brian spends 80% of his day on the 80% of tasks that feel urgent but are not important. He is a time spender. Leveraged Laura spends 80% of her day on the 20% of tasks that are truly important. She is a time investor. So, how do you do this? How do you make this shift today? Here is the 1% workflow. It replaces your brute force to-do list. It has 2 simple steps. Step 1, the leverage audit, sharpening the axe. You will no longer start your day by reacting. You will not open your email. You will not check your messages. You will, in total silence, with a pen and paper, spend the first 20 minutes of your day thinking about your work. You will ask yourself one question. What are the 1 to 3 tasks that, if I complete them today, will create the highest leverage and make everything else easier or irrelevant? These are your leverage tasks. How do you find them? A leverage task is creative, not reactive. A leverage task produces value. It doesn't just maintain it. A leverage task is hard, and you probably want to procrastinate on it. 99% task, low leverage, clear my inbox. 1% task, high leverage, draft the 3-page proposal that could land our biggest client. 99% task, low leverage, attend 3 status update meetings. 1% task, high leverage, design the one automated system that eliminates the need for those meetings. 99% task, post 10 times on social media. 1% task, high leverage, write the 1-pillar article that will become the source for 100 social media posts. You will identify your 1-3 leverage tasks before the world floods you with cortisol. You will do this when your PFC is fresh, online, and at its smartest. Step 2, the consolidated block, pushing the lever. Once you have your number 1 leverage task, you will attack it. You will not try to find time for it in the afternoon. You will give it your best time. You will schedule a consolidated block of 90 to 100 minutes. This is your first and most important appointment of the day. And during this block, you will execute the silence shield protocol from Chapter 2. Phone in another room, email closed, all tabs closed, door shut. You will give this one task your 100% undivided, intense focus. This is the intensity part of the 1% equation. When you combine intensity, pure deep focus, with leverage, the right task, you enter a state of super productivity. This is where you produce world-class output. This is where you actually outwork everyone. In those 90 minutes, you will finish that client proposal. You will design that automated system. You will write that pillar article. And by 10:30 a.m., you will have created more real value than busy Brian will create all week. You have won the day. Now the pressure is off. Your cortisol levels drop. You can spend the rest of your day in a calm, low-stress state. You can coast. You can answer the low-leverage emails, take the low-leverage meetings. But it doesn't matter, because your real work, it's already done. This is the 1% mindset. It is not about working 18-hour days. It is about protecting 90 minutes. It's not about endurance. It's about intensity. It's not about grinding. It's about leverage. Stop bragging about how tired you are. Stop wearing your burnout as a badge. It is not a sign of your dedication. It is a sign of your failure to strategize. It is a sign that you are pushing the boulder with your face. Your new Outwork metric is not hours. Your new metric is leveraged output. Your new goal is to be the person who gets it all done and still leaves at 5 p.m. To be the person who wins and still gets 8 hours of sleep. This is the true definition of outworking everyone. But as you start to do this, you're going to feel a pull. You're going to feel guilty for leaving at 5 p.m. You're going to want to clear that inbox just to feel productive. You're going to miss the validation you got from telling people how slammed you are. Your output will be 10x, but your ego will feel strange. Because busy Brian looks like he's working harder. He gets the social validation for his grind. You working in silence on your leverage tasks will be invisible. To truly sustain this 1% workflow, you have to do more than just manage your time and your biology. You have to kill your addiction to validation. You have to slay your ego. You have to learn to separate the feeling of productivity from actual productivity. That is the next and hardest step. That is the ego trap. And in the next chapter, we are going to walk straight into it. I want you to come with me into a specific, uncomfortable memory. Think about your last performance review. You sit down, your palms are a little sweaty, your boss pulls out their notes, and they smile. Look, your boss says, I just want to start by saying you are an absolute rock star. Your work on the new project was incredible. The client loves you, the team loves working with you. You're proactive, you're a great communicator. Honestly, just 9 out of 10 on all fronts. Amazing. You feel it, right? That rush, that warm, flooding feeling of relief, of pride. It's that dopamine hit of approval we talked about. But then your boss clears their throat. Just one small thing. And it's not a big deal, but it's an area for improvement. Your final reports, they could be a bit more detailed. Sometimes you rush them, and finance has to come back with questions. Just something to work on. Now, be honest. What do you think about on the drive home? What do you fixate on all evening? What's the one thing your brain clings to, chews on, ruminates over for the next 3 days? Is it the 9 pieces of glowing, effusive praise? Is it the rock star? Is it the client loves you? No, it's the one criticism. He thinks I'm sloppy. He thinks I'm rushing. He probably doesn't mean all that good stuff. I'm a fraud. The praise evaporated like water on a hot pan. The criticism stuck like a burr in your skin. Welcome to the ego trap. You have just been ambushed in broad daylight by a piece of your own ancient biological programming. And this program, this glitch in your modern brain, is the single biggest obstacle to you adopting the 1% mindset. This isn't you being sensitive. This isn't you being insecure or ungrateful. This is your negativity bias. It is a survival mechanism that is so deeply embedded in your brain that you don't even see it. It is designed to keep you alive, and it is wired to make you miserable and mediocre in the modern world. Let's agitate this. Let's look at the why. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you survive. For your ancestors on the open savanna, what was more important to pay attention to? The 100 safe, edible berries you've seen every day, or the one new, brightly colored berry that might be poisonous? What was more critical to your survival? The 10 members of your tribe who liked and supported you? Or the one member who didn't, the one who might challenge you, steal from you, or ostracize you from the group? Social rejection to your ancient brain was not a bad feeling. It was a death sentence. To be kicked out of the tribe was to be left for the saber-toothed tiger. So your brain evolved an insanely powerful defense mechanism. It evolved to over-index on threats. It became Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. Your brain clings to the negative. It obsesses over the threat. It remembers the one poisonous berry, the one tribal rival, the one piece of criticism in a sea of praise. This is your negativity bias. Now, let's see what this ancient, life-saving program is doing to your modern life. It has turned your self-worth into a hostage. It has externalized your value. It has taught you, on a fundamental biological level, that social approval is survival and social criticism is death. This is why you crave validation. This is why you need the applause. This is why you must engage in performative hustle. Chapter 1. You are addicted to the praise because it is the only thing that temporarily silences the screaming alarm of your negativity bias. The likes, the comments, the attaboys are your fix. They are a cheap digital anti-anxiety medication that tells your amygdala, we're safe. The tribe likes us. We will not be left to die. But this makes your entire emotional state fragile. You have handed the remote control for your feelings to strangers on the internet. You have given your boss, your colleagues, your clients the power to dictate your self-worth on any given day. You are living by what I call the external scoreboard. The 99% are obsessed with this scoreboard. How many likes did I get? What did my boss say? Did they praise my work in the meeting? What do they think of me? And this is the core of the ego trap. This is why the brute force 18-hour day, Chapter 3, is so addictive for busy Brian. Brian hates the work, but he loves the validation he gets from looking like he's working. He needs his colleagues to see him answering emails at 10 p.m. That look of, wow, Brian works so hard, is his fix. He is not working for the output. He is working for the applause. The 1% mindset, the leveraged Laura mindset, breaks this. When you work in strategic silence, Chapter 1. When you forge your silence shield, Chapter 2. When you focus only on leveraged output, Chapter 3, you are starving your brain of its favorite drug. You are not getting the likes. You are not getting the, wow, you're so busy. You are invisible. And your negativity bias panics. Your amygdala screams, we are not safe. We are getting no signals of approval. We must be failing. This feeling, this is the wall. This is where everyone quits. They can handle the work. They cannot handle the silence. They cannot handle the lack of validation. The ego trap snaps shut, and they run right back to posting about their grind just to feel safe again. To outwork everyone in silence, you must do the hardest work of all. You must kill your addiction to validation. You must fire the rest of the world from the job of judging you. You must shatter the external scoreboard. And you must, from scratch, forge your own. This is the antidote. This is the only way out. You must build an internal scoreboard. The external scoreboard is fickle. It is subjective. It is based on opinions, politics, and feelings. The internal scoreboard is permanent. It is objective. It is based on your effort, your process, and your integrity. The 99% ask, what did they think of me today? The 1% ask, did I do what I said I would do today? Let me be clear. This is not about ignoring all feedback. Feedback is data. We will get to that. This is about detaching your self-worth from that data. So, how do you build this internal scoreboard? You build it by rewiring your reward system. You must consciously reroute the dopamine hit away from external praise and toward internal progress. This is the specific cognitive reframing process. I am going to walk you through it step by step. Let's create a new scenario. You are leveraged Laura. You have adopted the 1% mindset. You did your leverage audit this morning, Chapter 3. You identified your number one task. Designed the automated system that eliminates the need for the weekly status meeting. You executed your silence shield protocol flawlessly, Chapter 2. You put your phone in another room, and you did 2 90-minute consolidated blocks. You built the system. It works. You know, objectively, this was a massive leverage win. You just saved the team 10 hours of wasted time every single week. You are about to feel great. Now you present it to Busy Brian, the senior manager. You walk him through it. You show him the dashboard. Brian frowns. He's checking his phone. He likes those status meetings. They make him feel important. Your new system threatens his sense of busyness. He looks up and says, "I don't get it. This seems complicated. I don't see the point. I like our meetings. It just feels like you wasted a day on this. Let's stick to the old way." Bam. The trap snaps shut. Your negativity bias explodes. Your amygdala is hijacked. A flood of cortisol and shame washes over you. The external scoreboard just flashed F-. You failed. You are a fraud. Now, the 99% crumble. Their self-worth disintegrates. They delete the project. They apologize. They go back to busy work to prove their value, to regain Brian's approval. The ego trap has won. Here is what the 1% mindset does. This is the reframe. This is the work. Step 1. Acknowledge the biology. You feel the sting, the shame, the anger. The first move is not to fight it. It's to name it. Your internal monologue is, there it is. That's my negativity bias. That's my amygdala screaming that I've been rejected by the tribe. It feels real. It feels like a threat. But it is not. It is an echo. It is a program. By naming it, you separate from it. You shift from being the emotion to observing the emotion. This one act begins to move you from your reactive amygdala to your analytical prefrontal cortex. Step 2. Pull out your internal scoreboard. You consciously ignore the external F- that Brian just gave you, and you run the numbers on the only scoreboard that matters, your internal scoreboard checklist. Question 1. Did I correctly identify my highest leverage task today? Answer, yes. This task saves 10 hours a week. It was the highest leverage task. Plus 1 point. Question 2. Did I execute my silence shield and consolidated block with 100% intensity? Answer, yes. I was in deep focus for 3 hours, no distractions. Plus 1 point. Question 3. Did I finish the task I set out to complete? Answer, yes. The system is built and it is functional. Plus 1 point. Question 4. Did I adhere to my principles regardless of the outcome? Answer, yes. I chose a leverage task over a busy one. Plus 1 V, victory point. Step 3. State the real verdict. You look at your internal scoreboard. The score is 4-4, a perfect day. Your internal monologue concludes, my internal scoreboard reads victory. My process was perfect. My effort was 100%. Today was a complete and total win. This is the new reward. This conscious, rational act of self-validation is your new dopamine hit. It's not the hot, anxious buzz of praise. It's the deep, solid, unshakable feeling of competence. You have just rewired your brain. You have taught it that the reward comes from the process, not the applause. Step 4. Reframe feedback as data. Now and only now, you can look at Brian's comment dispassionately. His feedback is not a verdict on your worth. It is data about him. The new internal monologue is, Brian's resistance is not a failure. It is data. The data shows that he is afraid of this change. The data shows that I failed to communicate the benefit to him. My work was 10 out of 10. My sales pitch was 2 out of 10. Retool the presentation to focus on how this gives him more control, not less. Do you see the power of this? You have transformed from a victim, "He hates me, I failed," into a scientist. "My hypothesis was correct, but my data presentation was flawed. I will iterate." You have taken back the remote control. This is what it means to work in silence. The silence is not just acoustic, it's emotional. It's the internal silence of a mind that is no longer buffeted by the winds of external opinion. It is the quiet confidence of a person who trusts their own scoreboard. This is the hardest work you will ever do. You will have to fight your negativity bias every single day. Your brain will fight you, begging you for the easy fix of praise. And on top of this ego battle, you will face another enemy. Because you will sit down to do the work. You'll have your internal scoreboard ready. You'll have your silence shield up. You'll be ready to fight the ego battle. And you'll just feel bored. The work will get hard. It will get tedious. It will get frustrating. You won't want to do it. And your brain, your ancient energy conservation brain, will send a new signal. It's not, "I'm a failure." It's, "I quit." It's the quit impulse. The biological urge to stop when things get hard or boring. This is the next wall. To keep showing up day after day to mark that internal scoreboard, you need more than a shield. You need fuel. You need grit. And in the next chapter, we are going to build it. We are going to explore the biology of grit and show you step by step how to outwork your own quit impulse. Let's talk about week 3. Week 1 is easy. Week 1 is exciting. Week 1 is the new gym membership. It's the clean sneakers. It's the day 1 post, which you didn't make because you're past that. It's the energy of a new beginning. Your brain is crackling with the dopamine of novelty. Week 2 is, okay, the newness is gone, but the initial momentum is still pushing you. You're building a routine. And then, week 3 hits. The alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It's dark. It's cold. You are sore. And you think, what's the point? I don't look any different. I don't feel any different. Missing one day won't hurt. Let's take it out of the gym. Let's go back to your silent project, your app, your book, your business plan. Week 1, you were a visionary. You were building your silence shield, Chapter 2. You were sharpening the axe, Chapter 3. You built your internal scoreboard, Chapter 4. You were ready. You're in week 3. You just hit a bug you can't solve. You've been staring at a line of code, at a blank page, at a spreadsheet. For 2 hours? It is not fun. It is not exciting. It is boring. It is hard. It is frustrating. And that is the real wall. It's not the distraction of the ping. It's not the fear of criticism. It is the deep, heavy, leaden feeling of wanting to stop. It's the siren call of the easy. Just check your email. Just go watch Netflix. You deserve a break. You can start again tomorrow. This is the quit impulse. And this impulse, this simple, quiet biological urge, is the single greatest filter separating the 99% from the 1%. This is the true outwork. It's not about outworking other people. It's about outworking the ancient, powerful, energy-saving part of your own brain that is begging you to stop. Welcome to the real fight. You think you are lazy. You think you lack discipline. You think you're a procrastinator. You believe this is a moral failing, a character flaw. I am here to tell you it is not. It is a biological default. The quit impulse is not you. It is a signal from your brain's real CEO. And that CEO is not your conscious, ambitious prefrontal cortex. The real boss of your brain is a principle called homeostasis. Homeostasis is your body's master program. Its one and only goal is to keep you stable and safe. It regulates your temperature. It regulates your heartbeat. It regulates your blood sugar. And it ruthlessly regulates your energy expenditure. Your brain, as we've discussed, is the most energy-expensive organ you own. Your conscious 1% mind, your prefrontal cortex, is the gas guzzler of the entire system. Doing new things, hard things, focused things burns a terrifying amount of glucose. Your ancient brain, the one that evolved in a world of scarcity, hates this. It sees this as wasteful and dangerous. Its prime directive is energy conservation. It wants you to do one thing: return to the familiar, return to the automatic, return to the easy. It wants you to scroll on your phone, which is low energy. It wants you to watch TV, which is low energy. It wants you to do the same busy work you did yesterday, which is now low energy because it's a habit. So let's look at week 3 again. You're staring at that frustrating bug. What is frustration? What is boredom? You think they are emotions. You think they are you. They are not. They are biological stop signals. They are tools that homeostasis uses to get you to stop burning so much damn energy. Boredom is your brain's signal saying, we are no longer getting a dopamine hit from the novelty of this task. The reward is gone, but the energy cost is still high. This is an inefficient loop. Abort. Go back to something novel and easy, like scrolling social media. Frustration is your brain's signal saying, the energy cost of this task has just skyrocketed. We are stuck. We are wasting precious glucose and getting no task completion reward. This is a bad deal. Abort. Go back to the safe and familiar. The 99% hear these signals and they obey them. They personalize them. They think, I am bored, I am frustrated, and so I quit. They put the work down, and tomorrow never comes. The 1% mindset hears these exact same signals, but it translates them. When the 1% mindset feels boredom, it thinks, there it is. The dopamine of novelty is gone. Good. Now the real work begins, the work of process. When the 1% mindset feels frustration, it thinks, the quit impulse. My brain is panicking about the energy cost. This must be the exact task that matters most. This is the lever. The 99% believe success is about feeling motivated. The 1% know that motivation is a liar. It's a fleeting chemical that only gets you to start. It is grit that gets you to finish. And here is the most important thing I will tell you in this entire book. Grit is not a trait you are born with. It is a skill you practice. Grit is not a moral quality. It is a biological adaptation. It is mental callousing. How do you get calluses on your hands? You don't think about them. You don't read about them. You lift the heavy thing. You endure the friction. You tear the skin on a microscopic level. And your body adapts by building a tougher, more resilient layer. You must do the same thing to your brain. This is the solve, the only solve. It's called stress inoculation. You have to practice being uncomfortable. You have to practice working when you are bored. You have to practice pushing just a little bit into the frustration. You are, in a very real neurological sense, giving your brain a vaccine against the quit impulse. You are teaching your homeostasis program a new default. You are rewiring your brain to associate effort itself with reward, not just cost. So, how do we do this? This is not a rah-rah just push through speech. This is a protocol. This is the grit practice. It is a conscious drill you will run every time you feel the quit impulse. Let's go back to the exact moment. You're at your desk. It's week 3. The code is broken. The page is blank. You feel the overwhelming urge to close the laptop and go watch TV. The quit impulse is here. Here is the drill. Step 1. The reframe. Acknowledge and name. This is the same technique we used in Chapter 4, but for a different signal. You do not fight the feeling. You do not shame yourself. I'm so lazy. You observe it. You name it. You say, in your head, that's it. That's the homeostasis signal. My brain is panicked about the energy cost. It's trying to help me by telling me to stop. Thank you, brain, but I am in charge of the agenda. You are in charge of the mechanics. This act of naming separates you, your conscious 1% mind, from it, the ancient, impulse-driven brain. You are no longer the feeling, you are the observer of the feeling. This instantly brings your prefrontal cortex back online. Step 2. The New Deal, the 5-minute contract. Now you do not tell yourself, I have to finish this whole project. That is too big. The energy cost is too high. Your brain will rebel. You renegotiate the terms. You make a micro-contract with your brain. I call it the just one more rule. You say, I am going to quit. I am absolutely going to stop and go watch Netflix. But first, I am going to write just one more paragraph. I am going to try just one more solution to this bug. I am going to review just one more page of this report. I am going to do just 5 more minutes. This is a neurological judo move. You are agreeing with your brain's stop signal, but on your terms. You are postponing the quit. Your brain accepts this 5-minute contract because the perceived energy cost is tiny. It's manageable. Okay, your brain says, we can do 5 minutes. Step 3. Execute the contract, the real rep. You do the 5 minutes. You write the 1 paragraph. You try the 1 new solution. And one of 2 magical things happen. Magic thing #1. You actually solve the bug. You write a great paragraph. And in that instant, your brain floods your system with dopamine. The real kind, the task completion hit, the I am competent hit. Chapter 4. And that dopamine hit gives you the energy and motivation for the next 5 minutes. The quit impulse is gone, replaced by a virtuous cycle of effort and reward. You have just tricked your brain into a flow state. Magic thing #2, the more important one. The 5 minutes are over. You're still stuck. The paragraph is terrible. You still want to quit. Now you let yourself quit. You honor the contract. You close the laptop, you get up, you walk away. And you immediately go to your internal scoreboard, Chapter 4. And what do you write on it? You do not write, I failed at my task. You write, I felt the quit impulse. I executed my just one more contract. I practiced grit. +1V, victory point. Why is this more important? Because you have just physically rewired your brain. You have just taught your brain a new loop. The old loop was feel frustration, quit, get relief, the reward. This strengthens the quit pathway. The new loop is feel frustration, apply 5 minutes of effort, get an internal scoreboard win, the new reward. You hint at it on social media. You are networking. You are building in public. You are being a modern entrepreneur. And you have just lost the war before you ever fired a shot. You have just, with your own mouth, given away your single greatest competitive advantage. You've been so focused on your internal battles, your focus, Chapter 2, your leverage, Chapter 3, your ego, Chapter 4, your grit, Chapter 5, that you completely forgot about the external one. You forgot that your brilliant idea does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in a marketplace. A crowded, hungry, and unforgiving marketplace. And your need to talk, your urge to get feedback, is not a strategy. It is strategic self-sabotage. Yes, as we covered in Chapter 1, talking about the goal kills your motivation. It leaks the dopamine and satisfies your brain, making you less likely to do the work. That is fact number 1. But now we move to the advanced class. That is the internal danger. The external danger is infinitely worse. Let's agitate this. Let's look at what actually happens when you talk. 1. You are broadcasting your battle plan. Think about it. In what other field of high-stakes competition does a contender announce their strategy to their opponents before the game has even begun? Can you imagine a general broadcasting? At 0500, we will be attacking the left flank, which we've noticed is undefended. Can you imagine a chess grandmaster telling their opponent, "My strategy is to sacrifice my queen on move 12 to gain control of the center"? It is insanity. And yet, that is exactly what you are doing. That friendly competitor you just told, that colleague at the coffee shop, they are not your friends. Not in this context. They are players in the same game. You just gave them your playbook for free. And you are a fool if you think they won't use it. While you are still talking about your day 1, they are silently executing your idea on their day 70. Your idea is worthless. Your execution is everything. And you have just given away your head start. 2. You invite low-quality, vision-killing feedback. You think you're getting valuable feedback. Let me ask you, are you asking for directions from people who have actually been where you are going? Or are you asking for the opinion of your friend, your relative, your mentor who is stuck in the same 9-to-5 you are? You are inviting people who have never built anything to critique your blueprint. And what feedback do they give you? They don't give you data. They give you their fears. Oh, that sounds really risky. Isn't the market too crowded for that? My cousin's friend tried that and lost everything. Are you sure you're the right person to do this? This is not feedback. This is poison. And because of your negativity bias, Chapter 4, your brain will cling to these 100 doubts and ignore the one, "Go for it." You have willingly invited a committee of cowards to vote on your destiny. 3. You have zero leverage. You go to a potential investor or partner. "I have this amazing idea," you say. You have no product, no data, no users, no proof. You have nothing but talk. What kind of deal do you think you are going to get? You have nothing to bargain with. You are begging. You are asking them to believe in your words. They will own you. If they're interested at all, they will take 90% of your company for nothing because you did nothing. This entire building in public, loud hustle model is a trap. It is designed for the 99%. It prioritizes the feeling of being an entrepreneur over the brutal, silent work of being one. The 1% mindset understands this, and it rejects this model entirely. The 1% mindset does not talk. It builds. It executes. It practices strategic invisibility. This is the solve. This is the weapon. Strategic invisibility is not passivity. It is not hiding in a basement because you are afraid. It is an active, offensive strategic choice to withhold your actions, your plans, and your very existence from the marketplace until you are ready to strike. It is the conscious choice to build in the dark so that when you do reveal your work, it is not a suggestion. It is a shock wave. Let's use a physics analogy. This is the only one you need. The 99% live in a state of constant, low-grade kinetic energy. They are always moving, always talking, always posting, always hustling. They are a tiny, inefficient engine, leaking energy everywhere. Leaking motivation through talk. Leaking strategy through feedback. Leaking focus through distraction. They make a lot of noise, but they have no impact. The 1% mindset builds potential energy. What is potential energy? It is the coiled spring. It is the drawn bowstring. It is the water building silently behind a massive dam. It is immense, terrifying power that is held in reserve. The 1% work in total silence. Every line of code they write, every page they draft, every sales call they make, while telling no one, is another foot of water rising behind the dam. Every quit impulse they defeat in silence, Chapter 5, is another coil in the spring. Every ego trap they dismantle in private, Chapter 4, strengthens the bowstring. They don't exist. They are invisible. The competition doesn't even know they are in the game. The marketplace is calm. And then, when the product is built, when the book is written, when the 10 podcast episodes are recorded, edited, and ready, When the data is in, they push the button. They break the dam. They let the bowstring fly. This is the shockwave impact. The 99% trickle their launch. Hey guys, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Week 1. Just ordered my microphone. It's getting real. Week 3. Having some trouble with the editing software, LOL. Week 5. Okay, here it is, episode 1. By the time the product launches, everyone is bored. It's an anticlimax. It's a failure. The 1% launches like an invasion. They say nothing for 8 weeks. And on launch day, they drop. Here is the 1% mindset. The entire 10-episode first season is available right now on all platforms. The website is live. The merch is live. The community is open. It is an event. It is professional. It is overwhelming. It lands with the force of a finished product, not the whimper of a new idea. The market is stunned. The competition is floored. They literally did not see it coming. And by the time they try to react, the 1% is already in stealth mode, building season 2. That is strategic invisibility. That is how you outwork everyone. You win the race before your competitors even know they're supposed to be running. This completely rewrites the rules of the game. Your silence is a knowledge shield. While you are in stealth mode, you are failing in private. You are learning. You are iterating. You are toughening your mind. Chapter 5. You are pivoting your entire strategy without any social or market penalty. Meanwhile, your loud competitors, they are failing in public. They are showing you their mistakes. They are revealing their strategy. You get to sit back in your silent lab and learn from their failures for free. Your silence gives you total leverage. Now you walk into that investor meeting. You don't say, "I have an idea." You silently place your laptop on the table. You show them the finished app. You show them the 1,000 active users you acquired in stealth mode. You show them the data, the revenue. You don't ask them to believe, you show them the proof. Now, who has the leverage? You are not begging for money. You are offering an opportunity. The entire power dynamic has flipped. This is a fundamental shift in how you operate. You must weld shut the valve between your process and the public. You must live by a new, simple, non-negotiable rule. You keep your inputs 100% private. You only reveal your outputs. Your private inputs are your process, your learning, your reading, your drafts, your mistakes, your practice, your failures, your silent project. This is your potential energy phase. This is the water building behind the dam. This is your sacred silent incubator. No one gets in. Your public outputs are your results, the finished product, the signed contract, the shipped app, the achieved result. This is your kinetic energy phase. This is the shock wave. This is the only thing the world ever gets to see. This requires a new set of social tactics, because people will ask. Your friends, your family. They'll say, "What's new? What are you working on?" They are not malicious. They are just making conversation. The 99% explodes with a 20-minute monologue, leaking all their energy, showing all their cards. "Oh my God, I have this amazing idea." You must become the gray man. The gray man, or woman, is a concept from espionage. It's the person who can walk through any room and be completely invisible. They are polite, friendly, and utterly forgettable. This is your new social script. When someone asks, "What's new? Working on anything exciting?" You smile. You deflect. You reveal nothing. You say, "Oh, just the usual. Staying busy with a few small projects. But tell me about your trip. How was that?" You praise them. You ask them questions. You turn the spotlight away from you and onto them. They will love you for it. They will walk away from the conversation thinking you are the most interesting, engaging person they've ever met. And they will have no idea that you are silently building an empire in your basement. This is the 1% mindset. It is not about being antisocial. It is about being strategic. It is not about hiding. It is about incubating. It is not about being afraid of competition. It is about making competition irrelevant. You have the system. You have the shield to protect your focus. You have the leverage to define your work. You have the internal scoreboard to kill your ego. You have the grit engine to outlast your quit impulse. And now you have the offensive weapon of strategic invisibility. You are building your dam. But how? How do you actually build it? How do you keep adding water day after day when you don't see the results? What is the engine that drives this entire silent potential energy building system? It's one boring, unglamorous, unsexy word. It is the single most powerful force in the universe. It is the physics of the 1% mindset. It is consistency. And in the next chapter, we are going to master it. What's the hack? Come on, be honest. You're looking for it. You believe success is a lottery ticket. You believe it's a quantum leap. You are waiting for the big break. The one viral video. The one hockey stick growth chart. The one heroic 18-hour coding session where you build the whole thing in a caffeine-fueled blaze of flow. You are waiting for the event. You are waiting for inspiration to strike you like lightning. And you are willing to wait. You will do nothing for weeks, telling yourself you are prepping or waiting for the right moment. This belief, this fantasy, is the most seductive and dangerous lie in the 99% mindset. It is the myth of the quantum leap, and it is the guarantee of your permanent failure. You believe that outworking everyone means one heroic sprint. So let's play that out. Let's call it Heroic Saturday. You wake up, you feel it, motivation, that fleeting dopamine of novelty feeling from Chapter 5. You cancel your plans. You post a picture of your laptop, breaking rule number 1, but you can't help it. Grind mode, you caption it, and you work for 12 straight hours. You are a wildfire. You are burning through tasks. You are reacting. You are brute forcing. Chapter 3. At midnight, you collapse. You are drained. You flooded your brain with cortisol. You are exhausted. But you are proud. You crushed it. Then Sunday comes. You are burnt out. You tell yourself you deserve a break. You do nothing. Monday comes. You're back at your day job. You're still recovering. Tuesday, Wednesday. By the time next Saturday comes around, you've lost all momentum. The context of your project is gone. You have to spend the first 3 hours just figuring out where you left off. Your heroic 12-hour sprint was a wildfire. It made a lot of smoke, it felt dramatic, and it changed nothing. It built nothing permanent. It was one rep. The 1% mindset knows the truth. The 1% mindset is not a wildfire. The 1% mindset is a glacier. A wildfire is loud, it's hot, it's sexy, and it burns itself out in a day, leaving nothing but ash. A glacier is silent. It is unglamorous. It is boring. It moves 6 inches a day, and it carves the entire planet. It cannot be stopped. The 1% outworks everyone, not by winning one heroic Saturday, but by winning the day, every single day. It's not about the sprint, it's about the compounding effort. This isn't a motivational opinion. This is physics. This is biology. This is the physics of consistency. Let's go back to your brain. This is the most critical piece of neuroscience you will ever learn. Let's talk about myelination. You have 100 billion neurons in your brain. A skill, a habit, a thought. It is nothing but a specific pathway of neurons firing together. When you learn something new, the first time you play a guitar chord, the first time you write a line of code, the first time you make a sales call, that neuropathway is terrible. It's like a tiny, overgrown dirt trail in a dense jungle. To send a signal down it, your prefrontal cortex has to get out a machete and hack its way through. It's slow, it's inefficient, it costs a staggering amount of energy, glucose. This is why learning is so hard. This is the frustration from Chapter 5. Now, what is practice? What is consistency? Practice is the act of sending that signal down that same trail again and again. And here is the magic. Every time you fire that specific circuit, you trigger a response from other cells in your brain called glial cells. These cells are your brain's construction crew, and their job is to insulate that pathway. They wrap that active trail in a fatty white sheath called myelin. Myelin is insulation. And what does insulation do for an electrical wire? It makes the signal faster. It makes it stronger. It stops the signal from leaking out. The more reps you do, the more myelin gets wrapped around that circuit. That dirt trail becomes a paved road, then a highway, then a fiber optic superhighway. The signal becomes effortless. It becomes automatic. This is how you learn to play the guitar. This is how you learn to type. You myelinate the pathway until it's so fast and efficient that you don't even think about it. You have built a permanent structure in your brain. Now, let's look at your heroic Saturday again. Your 12-hour wildfire sprint? That was 1 rep. You signaled for a tiny amount of myelin, and then you stopped for 5 days. The jungle grew back. You are still on the dirt trail. You are trying to build a transcontinental railroad by paving 1 foot of track in California, then 1 foot of track in Ohio, then 1 foot of track in New York. It is useless. It never connects. It carries no load. The 1% glacier mindset understands this. They know that 1 focused hour, a consolidated block from Chapter 3, every single day is infinitely more powerful than 12 hours on 1 day. That 1 focused hour, every 24 hours, is the rep. It is the signal. It is the construction order to the myelin crew. Come back here. Pave this road. This one matters. The 1% outworks everyone simply by myelinating their success pathways with more consistency than anyone else. They are not more motivated. They are not more talented. They are building a better insulated brain. So, if you know this, why is it so hard? Why do you still hit week 3, chapter 5, and stop? Why do you choose to break the chain? Because you wake up and you ask yourself a question. Do I feel like it today? And this question, this single act of consulting your feelings, is the enemy of consistency. It is the sabotage of your entire system. Because the answer is always no. Your homeostasis, chapter 5, will always vote no. Your comfort-seeking brain will always choose easy over hard. And to ask the question, you have to use your prefrontal cortex, PFC. You are inviting your PFC, your logical 1% mind self, into a debate with your ancient, emotional, quit impulse brain. You have just triggered the other great enemy of progress, decision fatigue. This is the new biological concept you must master. Your willpower, your PFC, your ability to make good, rational, long-term decisions. It is not a limitless resource. It is a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets tired. Every single decision you make from the moment you wake up drains its battery. Should I hit snooze? Decision 1, minus 10% battery. Should I check my phone? Decision 2, minus 15% battery. What should I wear? Decision 3, minus 5% battery. What should I eat for breakfast? Decision 4, minus 10% battery. Should I check email or work on my real project? Decision 5, minus 20% battery. By 9 a.m., your willpower muscle is gassed. It is gone. So when 6 p.m. rolls around and you ask it, should I go to the gym or watch Netflix? It cannot fight. It has no energy left to override the easy impulse. You have 0 decision-making power left. The 99% live in a state of chronic decision fatigue. Their entire day is a series of unmade decisions and constant debate. The 1% mindset knows this, and they rig the game. They eliminate the debate. They remove the choice. They know that motivation is a feeling, and feelings are liars. They know that willpower is a finite muscle that will fail. So they stop relying on either of them. They build a system that bypasses feelings and bypasses willpower. A system that runs on its own. This system is called automaticity. The tool you use to build it is the non-negotiable routine, NNR. This is the solve. An NNR is not a to-do list. A to-do list is a list of decisions you have to make. It creates decision fatigue. An NNR is a pre-made decision. It is a script. It is a ritual. The 1% designs their perfect day once, and then they put it on a loop. They execute the script, no matter what they feel. Why? Because what happens when a behavior becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth or driving your car? Do you decide how to brush your teeth? Do you use willpower to remember to hit the brake pedal? No. Why? Because that pathway is so deeply myelinated that it has migrated from your energy-guzzling PFC to your ancient, efficient basal ganglia. This is your habit center. It's autopilot. It costs virtually no energy to run. The 1% mindset builds routines that intentionally move their highest leverage work, Chapter 3, from the PFC to the basal ganglia. They make their critical work as automatic and non-negotiable as brushing their teeth. That is the secret. That is how they outwork everyone, especially on the days they don't feel like it. Their feelings are irrelevant. The routine is running. So, let's build your first NNR. This is your new homework. We will design your non-negotiable morning, the glacier script. The 99% morning, the decision fatigue model, 6 a.m. Alarm, snooze, decision 1. 6:09 a.m. Alarm, snooze, decision 2. 6:18 a.m. Ugh, grab phone, decision 3. The fatal blow. 6:45 a.m. Panic, jump out of bed, stress, cortisol. 6:50 a.m. What should I wear? Decision 4. 7 o'clock a.m. What should I eat? Decision 5. 7:15 a.m. Rush out the door. Your willpower is gone. Your PFC is offline. Your day is lost. You were reactive from the moment you woke up. The 1% NRR, the automaticity script. Step 1. The night before script. This is where you win the day. You lay out your workout clothes. Decision eliminated. You prepare the coffee maker. Decision eliminated. You fill your water bottle and put it by your bed. Decision eliminated. You pack your gym bag. Decision eliminated. You look at your leverage audit, Chapter 3, and identify your one leverage task for tomorrow. You write it on a single notepad and place it on your clean desk. The most important decision, eliminated. You put your phone on the charger in another room, Chapter 2. Step 2. The morning execution script. You do not think, you execute. 6 a.m. Alarm goes off. Script, line 1. Feet hit floor. No snooze. That choice does not exist. Script, line 2. Drink water. It's right there. Script, line 3. Put on clothes. They're right there. Script, line 4. Go to desk. Press brew on coffee. Script, line 5. Sit down. Look at notepad. Open one program. Script, line 6. Set 90-minute silence shield timer. Chapter 2. Script, line 7. Begin. Before your brain knows you're awake. The first 10 times you do this, your PFC will have to force it. It will be painful. This is the friction, Chapter 5. You are hacking the dirt trail. The next 20 times, it gets easier. The myelin crew's working. After 60 days, it's automatic. It's who you are. You have built a physical superhighway for success in your brain. It will feel weird to not do it. You have bypassed decision fatigue. You have bypassed the quit impulse. You have bypassed your feelings. This is the engine of strategic invisibility. Chapter 6. This is how you build the dam. This is the unsexy, unglamorous, silent daily rep that guarantees your victory. You are not a wildfire. You are a glacier. You have the system. You have the routine. You are myelinating your greatness in silence. You have one last problem. Your system is perfect, but it is fragile. You have built a fortress, and other people are about to attack it. They don't mean to, but they will. They will attack your silence shield. They will hijack your consolidated block. They will come disguised as friends, colleagues, and opportunities. They will come with a quick question. They will come with a coffee meeting. They will come with a small favor. And your biological need to be liked, your mirror neurons, will force you to say yes. And your entire perfect system will collapse. To protect your fortress, you must learn the final skill of the 1% mindset. You must learn to defend your silence. You must master the no gauntlet. Got a sec? It's 9:01. You've done it. You executed your night before script. Your morning execution script from Chapter 7 was flawless. Your phone is in the other room. Your coffee is hot. Your one leverage task is open on your screen. You've just set your 90-minute silence shield timer. You are a glacier. You are myelinating. You are winning. The timer clicks on. 90.00, 89.59, and then a knock on your door. A ping from your desktop chat client, the one you forgot to close. Your colleague Busy Brian leans his head into your office. "Hey," he says, "got a sec? Just a quick question." What do you do? What do you say? You know what you should say. You know that this 90-minute block is sacred. It is the single most valuable asset of your entire day. But you don't say that. You hesitate. And in that half second of hesitation, your entire perfectly built system of focus collapses. Sure, you say. What's up? It's not a quick question. It's never a quick question. It's a 15-minute, low-leverage, putting out a fire that isn't yours conversation. And by 9:17 a.m., your consolidated block is shattered. Your flow state is gone. Your attention residue, Chapter 2, is so thick you can't see your own work. Your leverage task now feels impossible. And the rest of your day becomes a cascade of reacting to other people's priorities. By 11 a.m., your best energy is gone, spent on their emergencies. You just lost the day, and you let them win. You opened the gate. This is the no gauntlet. It is the final wall of defense for your 1% mindset. You have done all the internal work. You've plugged your dopamine leaks. You've built your grit engine. You've automated your consistency. And now you are failing at the finish line. You are failing to protect your system from the outside world. Why? Why is it so impossibly hard to say no? Why does that one simple word feel like swallowing glass? This isn't a time management problem. This isn't a politeness problem. This is a boundary failure. And it is driven by one of the deepest, most powerful pieces of your social survival biology. Let's agitate this. Let's talk about mirror neurons. You have a special set of neurons in your brain that do not fire based on your actions. They fire based on the actions of others. When you see someone smile, your mirror neurons for smiling fire. You feel a trace of their happiness. When you see someone in pain, your mirror neurons for pain fire. You wince. You feel a ghost of their suffering. This is the biological root of empathy. It is what connects us. It is what allows us to bond, to cooperate, to build tribes. In the ancient world, it was a superpower. In the modern office, it is your Achilles heel. Let's replay the 9:01 a.m. scenario. Biologically, your colleague knocks. He needs something. Your mirror neuron system instantly kicks in. You see his anxiety. You see his urgency. and your brain simulates his potential emotional state. Specifically, your brain simulates his disappointment or rejection if you say no. To your ancient tribal brain, this feeling, this potential social conflict, is not a minor inconvenience. It is a mortal threat. It's the same threat as the negativity bias, Chapter 4. It is the fear of ostracism, the terror of being kicked out of the tribe. So, when you are faced with a choice, A. Experience the immediate, certain, high-friction social pain of saying no, or B. Experience the delayed, uncertain, abstract pain of sacrificing your future goals, your biology, your mirror neurons, your ancient survival-wired brain screams at you to choose B. You say yes. You say yes not because the request is valid. You say yes not because it's important. You say yes to make your own biological discomfort go away. You are addicted to agreement. You are sacrificing your highest leverage, 1% future, to manage a colleague's minor 99% feelings just so you can avoid 10 seconds of social friction. This is catastrophic self-sabotage. You are letting the world hijack your single most precious, non-renewable asset, your peak energy, focused, glacier mode time. The 1% mindset knows this. The 1% is not a robot. They feel the same biological pull, but they have consciously rewired their response. They have trained themselves to tolerate the microdose of social pain in order to protect their macro-level mission. Silence isn't just working in silence. Silence also means being silent. It means your default answer to the world is no. Your yes is expensive. It must be earned. This is the solve. You must build your fortress of focus. Your non-negotiable routine, NNR, from Chapter 7 is the castle keep, the inner sanctum. But a keep without walls is useless. Your no is the wall. Here is the tactical, step-by-step protocol for building that wall. It's not about being rude. It's about being clear. It is the art of the guilt-free no. The 99% fails because their no is weak. It's a weak no. It sounds like, oh, I don't think I can. I'm so busy. I'm sorry. What does this communicate? It communicates guilt. It begs for forgiveness. It invites negotiation. It signals to the other person, I feel bad. Please convince me. And they will. The 1% never uses a weak no. The 1% no is polite, firm, and final. It is not an excuse. It is a statement of fact. It closes the door. It doesn't leave it cracked open. Here are the exact scripts you will memorize. You will practice them. You will myelinate, Chapter 7, these new social pathways until they become automatic. The No Gauntlet. Tactical scripts. Scenario 1. The quick question ambush. This is the most common attack. A peer or colleague who needs your focus. The request. Hey, got a sec? Just a quick question on the report. The 99% weak response. Sure, what's up? Result, 15 minutes of your leverage gone. I can't right now. The no. I'm in a deep work block until 11 a.m. The process, not an excuse. Can you send me an email with the question and I'll get to it as soon as my block is done? The deferral. Why this works. You weren't rude. You respected your own time. You honored their request, but on your terms. You taught them how to interact with you. 9 times out of 10, by the time they write the email, they solve their own problem. Scenario 2. The boss hijack. This is the hardest one. An urgent request from a superior that hijacks your approved leverage task. The request. Drop what you're doing. I need you to jump on this new thing. It's a fire. The 99% weak response. Okay, on it. Result. Your entire day, your entire glacier-like progress is dead. You are back in busy Brian mode. The 1%, the leverage redirect. Response. Got it. Happy to help. You agree. Just to confirm, my #1 priority this morning was finishing the your leverage task, which we both agreed is critical for the big goal. You state the facts. Would you like me to pause that critical task to pivot to this new one? I just want to be 100% clear on our new priority. Why this works. This is a master-level move. You are not saying no. You are not being insubordinate. You are presenting a strategic choice. You are forcing your manager to do their job. Prioritize. You are reminding them of the cost. You are showing them the trade-off. 9 times out of 10, they will hesitate and say, "Oh, you're right. That is more important. Let me find someone else for this new fire." You have defended your leverage by showing your leverage. Scenario 3, the pick your brain. This is the social attack, the networking request that is actually free consulting. The request. Hey, I love your work. I'd love to pick your brain over coffee sometime. The 99% weak response. Sure, sounds great. How's next week? Result? You just gave away 2 hours of your life. Travel, talk, refocus time for nothing. The 1%, the leverage deflection. Response. Thanks for reaching out. Polite. My schedule is fully committed to my current projects right now, so I'm not able to take any new meetings. The no. It's a policy, not a personal rejection. However, I've written an article, recorded a podcast that answers most of the questions I get about that topic. Here's the link. I hope it helps. The leveraged asset. Why this works? You still helped them, but you did it on your time. You cloned yourself with your output. You didn't sell your most valuable asset, your focused time, for the price of a $5 coffee. Scenario 4, the small favor. This is the subtlest attack. The "can you just" that bleeds you dry one paper cut at a time. The request. Can you just look this over for me? Can you just help me with this formula? The 99% weak response. Sure. Result, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. By noon, you've lost an hour. The 1%, the teach, don't do response. I can't do it for you right now. The no. But I know the solution is explain the 10-second principle. Or here is the exact Google query I would use to find that answer. Let me know if that doesn't solve it. Why this works? You are not a crutch. You are a resource. You empowered them to solve their own problem, defended your own time, and gained their respect as a teacher, not a servant. This is your new practice. This is the no gauntlet. You must build your fortress. Your non-negotiable routine, NNR, is the keep. Your scripts are the walls. Your digital defenses are the moat. Your email autoresponder. I am in a deep work block from 8 to 11 a.m. and will not be seeing emails until then. All messages will be answered in my admin block this afternoon. Your physical defenses are the drawbridge. Your door is shut, your headphones are on. These are the physical, social signals that say, my work matters. You must accept a simple, hard truth. You have to be more loyal to your future than you are to other people's immediate low-leverage needs. This is not selfish. This is strategic. The 99% think they are being nice. In reality, they are signaling to the world that their time is worthless, and the world agrees with them and steals it all. The 1% builds a fortress. They defend it with polite, firm finality. They signal to the world that their time is valuable, and the world, in turn, respects them for it. You have the system. You have the engine to run it. You have the walls to defend it. You are set. But a fortress can also be a prison. What happens when your plan, your perfect internal silent plan, fails? What happens when the enemy is not busy Brian, but you? You break your own routine. Your silent project, Chapter 6, fails. The app has a fatal bug. The market rejects your shockwave impact. You get the rejection letter. The system breaks. Your first impulse? Your amygdala hijacks you. Your negativity bias screams. And you break your silence. You vent, you complain, you blame, you seek comfort. And in that moment, you lose the whole war. Your final test, the ultimate test of the 1% mindset, is not how you build success, it's how you process failure. In silence. It happened. You did everything right. You built your silence shield, Chapter 2. You focused on your leverage tasks, Chapter 3. You built your internal scoreboard, Chapter 4. You practiced grit and pushed through the quit impulse, Chapter 5. You mastered your non-negotiable routine, Chapter 7. You defended your fortress with the guilt-free no, Chapter 8. You built your dam. You built the potential energy, Chapter 6. And then you launched. Your shockwave impact. You released the app. You published the book. You launched the product. And nothing. Crickets. Worse than crickets. A trickle of engagement, followed by rejection. A 1-star review. A pass from the publisher. An email from the client. We've decided to go in another direction. It failed. I want you to feel that specific sensation. It's not just disappointment. It's a physical event. It's the hot, flooding shame in your face and chest. It's the cold, hollow pit that opens in your stomach. It is the biological alarm screaming that you are not safe. Your perfect system has just collided with reality. And in this exact moment, this is the true test. This is the final internal battle. Because in this moment, an impulse rises up that is stronger than the urge for distraction, stronger than the urge to quit, stronger than the urge to brag. It is the overwhelming, desperate, biological need to break your silence. It's the urge to vent, to complain, to blame, to find someone, anyone, and tell them how you were wronged. The market is stupid. The algorithm buried me. People just don't get what I was trying to do. Or, even more insidiously, it's the urge to seek comfort, to text your friend, "It all fell apart. I'm such a failure." You are desperate for them to text you back. No, you're not. You're amazing. It's their loss. You are craving the social validation that patches the hole in your ego. This is the 99% response, and it is the most catastrophic mistake you can possibly make. What you think is processing is poison. What you think is getting support is sabotage. What you think is vulnerability is actually you marinating in your own failure and teaching your brain that this is the end. This chapter is about the hardest discipline in the 1% mindset. It's not how you build success. It's how you process failure in total, absolute silence. Let's agitate this. Let's look at the biology of the 99% loud failure. You fail. The rejection hits. Your amygdala, your ancient emotional alarm system, hijacks your entire body. This isn't a drill. This is a 5-alarm fire. Your ego, Chapter 4, has been shattered. Your negativity bias is screaming that this isn't a setback, it's a death sentence. The tribe has rejected you. Your system is flooded, not just with a drip of cortisol, like from busyness in Chapter 3, but with a toxic deluge of it. You are drowning in the neurochemistry of threat and despair. So you reach for the phone. You vent to your friend. And for a moment, it feels good. Why? Because your friend says, "Oh, that's terrible. You didn't deserve that." Your mirror neurons, Chapter 8, register their pity. You feel their empathy. And your brain, desperate for any kind of win, releases a tiny, pathetic hit of dopamine and oxytocin. You have just rewarded yourself. What have you just taught your brain? You have just myelinated, Chapter 7, the single most destructive neural pathway you can possibly build. Failure, venting, social comfort, pity. You have just trained your brain that the payoff for failing is social comfort. You have taught your brain that the antidote to failure is sympathy. Now what happens the next time you face a risk? What happens the next time you even think about starting a silent project? Your brain remembers. It remembers the agonizing, cortisol-drenched pain of the last failure. And it knows that the only upside was a little bit of pity. It runs the cost-benefit analysis and screams, "No." This is how you create fear of failure. This is how you become risk-averse. This is how you guarantee you will never try again. Your loud failure, your venting, was not processing. It was rumination. It was cementing the trauma. It was forging your own chains. The 1% mindset feels the exact same biological sting. Their amygdala also fires. The cortisol also floods. They also feel the hot shame. They are not robots, but they have trained, with deliberate practice, a completely different response. It is the hardest response. It is the only response that works. They process their failure in silence. They refuse to vent. They refuse to complain. They refuse to seek comfort. They refuse to reward their brain for failing. Instead, they sit with the pain. They let the emotional storm wash over them, and they do not act. They wait. And when the initial, overwhelming screaming of the amygdala begins to fade, they get to work. But it's a different kind of work. They don't vent. They analyze. This pivot is the master-level judo move of the 1% mindset. It is the single greatest act of cognitive power you can ever perform. Because what is analysis? What part of your brain analyzes? Your prefrontal cortex, PFC. Your logical, rational, complex problem-solving 1% mind. Here is the biological miracle. Your brain cannot be in a peak emotional state, amygdala hijack, and a peak analytical state, PFC engagement, at the exact same time. The two systems compete for blood flow and glucose. They are neurological opposites. The 99% stays in the amygdala, venting, blaming, feeling. The 1% forces a brain shift. By consciously choosing to analyze the failure, you are biologically, physically draining power from your emotional panicked amygdala and redirecting that power, that blood flow, that glucose to your calm, logical, powerful prefrontal cortex. You are seizing the steering wheel of your own neurochemistry. You are forcing your brain out of the cortisol bath and into a problem-solving state. This is the solve. This is the resilience reframe. It's not about ignoring the failure. It's about metabolizing it. It's not venting. It's debriefing. This is not journaling. Journaling can easily become rumination, just venting onto a page, reliving the emotion. This is an after-action review, AAR. It is a cold, dispassionate, tactical tool. It is not about how you feel. It is about what happened. Here is your new protocol, the failure protocol. The moment you fail, you go silent. You take out a physical piece of paper and a pen, not a laptop. It's too connected to the outside world of distraction and venting. You disconnect. And you will not allow yourself to sleep until you have answered these 4 simple, dispassionate questions. This is the silent debrief. The 1% silent debrief. Question 1. What was the intended outcome? Be specific. No emotion. Example. I intended to launch my app and acquire 1,000 paid users in the first 30 days. Question 2. What was the actual outcome? Be brutally honest. No blame, just data. Example. I acquired 45 users. 30 of them churned, left. I received 12 one-star reviews. The primary complaint was confusing user interface and buggy checkout. Question 3. What caused the difference? This is the core of the exercise. You must find the process failure. You cannot blame external factors. You must find your mistake. The 99% victim answer: the market is saturated. People are stupid. My ads didn't work. The 1% owner answer: My marketing input was good, but my product output was bad. The difference was caused by my failure to properly beta test. I skipped the testing phase in my non-negotiable routine, Chapter 7, because I was impatient and afraid someone else would launch first. Do you see? The 1% finds the broken piece of their own system. Question 4. What is the one actionable lesson I will apply to the next rep? This is the key that unlocks the entire reframe. It must be an action, a process change. The 99% vague answer: be better, try harder, don't fail. The 1% actionable answer: my new non-negotiable launch process will now include a mandatory 4-week, 100-user beta test before any public marketing begins. I will not write a single line of code for the next project until this new checklist is written. You close the notepad. You stand up. What has just happened in your brain? You felt the catastrophic pain of failure. And instead of myelinating the failure to pity pathway, you just hacked your own brain. You just built and myelinated the single most powerful, anti-fragile, successful neural pathway on Earth. Failure, analysis, actionable lesson. You have just biologically taught your brain that failure is not fatal. You have taught your brain that failure is not a threat. You have taught your brain that failure is data. You have taught your brain that failure is learning. You have taught your brain that failure is the tuition you pay for your next success. This act, this silent analytical debrief, kills the fear of failure at its root. You cannot be afraid of an outcome that you have reframed as valuable. You cannot be afraid of failing when you know that failing just makes you smarter. This is true resilience. The 99% think resilience is bouncing back, just surviving the hit. The 1% know resilience is bouncing forward. It's absorbing the energy of the impact, metabolizing it into fuel, and using it to accelerate into the next rep. This is the final piece of your system. You have plugged every leak. You have built every engine. You have constructed every wall. And now you have built the auto-repair system, the self-correcting mechanism. Your fortress is complete. You are a closed loop, a silent, self-correcting, unstoppable glacier. Chapter 7. You are guaranteed to win, because even when you lose, you win. So, what's left? You have the system. You follow the system. You achieve the goal. You do it all in silence. Now what? What's the point? What's the end game if there's no champagne, no parade, no applause? You achieved the victory. You built the app. You wrote the book. You got the result. And no one knows. You are the unseen victor. What is the real reward? We've killed the ego. We've starved the dopamine addiction. So why did we do it? This is the final question. In our final chapter, we are going to answer it. We are going to integrate everything and live the 1% mindset. You did it. The shockwave impact, Chapter 6, has landed. You built the dam, and you broke it. The app is launched. The book is published. The business is live. Your silent project is finished. It worked. The 1-star reviews from your first failure, Chapter 9, turned into 5-star raves. The market gets it. The clients are signing. The pass from the publisher turned into a bidding war. You won. You are standing in the quiet clearing after the battle. The work is done. So, now what? What is this feeling? This quiet, hollow feeling? You're waiting for something. Where is the parade? Where is the life-changing rush? Where is the movie credits feeling of total euphoric victory? This is the last and greatest paradox of the 1% mindset. You've spent months, maybe years, killing your ego, Chapter 4, starving your addiction to the dopamine lie, Chapter 1, and working in total silence. You thought that when you finally revealed your work, when you finally let the world in, that would be the real reward. You thought the applause was the payoff. You thought that the goal of working in silence was to finally be loudly celebrated. And this is the final boss. It is the last, deepest, most ancient piece of your social programming. It is the ghost in the machine. It is the child inside you who is still waiting, begging for the world to look at you and finally tell you, you are good enough. You mattered. You won. We are wired on a fundamental psychological level to believe that achievement is synonymous with recognition. What is the point of winning if there is no trophy? What is the point of summiting the mountain if you can't take a selfie at the top? So you break your silence. You post the screenshot of your sales. You forward the email from the CEO. You tell everyone about your victory. And the validation rolls in. The likes, the congratulations, the "you're a genius." And it feels good. It feels fine for about 10 minutes. And then it's gone. The dopamine hit of external praise, this thing you thought was the ultimate prize, is weak. It's hollow. It's nothing. It's infinitely weaker than the feeling you had during the work. It's nothing compared to that one night at 2 a.m. when you finally solved that impossible bug, Chapter 5. It's nothing compared to the feeling of deep, silent flow during your consolidated block, Chapter 3. It's nothing compared to the quiet, solid pride you felt when you marked victory on your internal scoreboard, Chapter 4, even when no one else knew. That was the real feeling. That was the real prize. And in this moment of hollow victory, you finally understand the truth. You thought you were enduring the process to get to the prize, the applause. You were wrong. The 1% mindset understands the real equation. You endure the prize, the applause, the noise, the distraction, so you can get back to the process. The entire why of this whole book, all of it, clicks into place. The goal was never the external victory. The goal was the internal transformation. This is the solve. This is the integration of everything. The real work of the 1% mindset was not the app or the book or the business. The real silent project was you. Let's look at what you actually built. You think you built a product. You didn't. You used the product as a gym. You used it as a proving ground to forge a new brain, to build a new identity. Look at the machine you've constructed. You didn't just stop posting about your goals, Chapter 1. You rewired your nucleus accumbens. You broke a lifelong addiction to cheap dopamine and resensitized your brain to the deep earned satisfaction of intrinsic reward. You didn't just turn off your notifications, Chapter 2. You ran drills. You practiced mastering your amygdala. You proved that your prefrontal cortex, your 1% mind, could seize control from your ancient reactive lizard brain. You didn't just work smarter, Chapter 3. You defeated the lie of the 18-hour cortisol grind. You proved that leverage is physics, and that 1 hour of pure, intense, focused work is more powerful than 12 hours of busyness. You didn't just ignore your ego, Chapter 4. You built, from scratch, a new source of human value. You fired the entire world from the job of judging you. You built your internal scoreboard, an unshakable foundation of process-driven pride that no one-star review can ever touch. You didn't just push through being bored, Chapter 5. You literally reprogrammed your homeostasis loop. You taught your energy-conserving brain that friction is not a threat. You taught it that friction is the signal for growth. You taught your brain to love the hard part. You didn't just keep a secret, Chapter 6. You mastered the physics of potential energy. You stopped leaking your power and learned to channel it, to build it into a shock wave that makes competition irrelevant. You didn't just build a habit, Chapter 7. You physically changed the structure of your brain. You consciously directed the flow of myelin to insulate the pathways of your success. You turned a dirt trail of intention into a fiber optic superhighway of automaticity. You didn't just learn to say no, Chapter 8. You faced the deepest biological terror of social rejection, your mirror neurons, and you chose your mission over their comfort. You built your fortress of focus. And most importantly, you didn't just learn from failure, Chapter 9. You mastered the resilience reframe. You taught yourself how to hijack your own amygdala-driven, cortisol-drenched threat response and force a brain shift, redirecting that power to your PFC. You learned how to metabolize failure into fuel. You are the product. The app, that was just the barbell. The book, that was just the treadmill. The business, that was just the obstacle course. The real prize is not the thing you built. The real prize is the person you became in order to build it. This is the ultimate reward. It's not the money, it's not the fame, it's not the applause. It is the deep, profound, unshakable, silent competence. It is knowing, in your bones, I am the person who can build things from nothing. I am the person who can keep promises to myself. I am the person who does not break. I am the person who wins. Not because I am talented, not because I am lucky, but because I understand the system. I trust the process. I execute the physics. This identity is the only validation you will ever need. You don't need the world to tell you that you won. You don't need the trophy. Your internal scoreboard is the only one that matters, and it reads, victory. This is the true meaning of outwork everyone in silence. The outwork was never about them. It was about outworking your own biology, your own impulses, your own laziness. The silence was never about hiding. It was about creating the space, the incubator, the fortress where that transformation could happen. You are the unseen victor. You are the architect, not the actor. The 99% are actors on a stage, desperately performing, begging. You are the architect. You are drawing the blueprints. You are laying the foundation. You are building the theater itself. Your joy comes from the work. Your reward is the act of creation. This is your new life. And the best part of this entire system? You did it. You proved the process works. The product is done. And now you get to do it again. You get to find the next mountain. You get to go back to Chapter 1. You get to build the next silent project. And this time, you are not the novice hoping it will work. You are the master, knowing it will. The 99% are still out there. They are still talking. They are still scrolling. They are still blaming. They are still waiting for inspiration, waiting for permission, waiting for validation, waiting for someone else to tell them they can start. You are no longer waiting. You are building. You are myelinating. You are executing. You are living the process. They can't see you. They won't understand you. They will only see the shockwaves you create, the empires you build out of the quiet. And they will call it overnight success. They will call it genius. They will call it luck. But you will smile. And you, in your calm, quiet, powerful silence, you will know the truth. You will know it was physics. You will know it was biology. You will know it was process. You will know it was choice. You are the 1%. You are the unseen victor. And that is all the validation you will ever need. The work begins.